Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and today we're going to be having a little chat about whether we should have parted ways with Coufal, Cresswell, Ings, and Fabianski. Let's go. Yes, West Ham Network, it's Holly, and today we are going to be discussing the departure of Coufal, Ings, Cresswell, and Fabianski, and whether we have made the right decision in saying goodbye at this moment in time. So I'm really keen to hear your thoughts, as always, so please let me know what you think down below in that comment section. And while I'm at it, hit that thumbs up button, support the channel, it goes a very long way, and it will let us know that you've enjoyed it. So, the club released a statement 5 days ago now stating that those 4 players are going to be leaving when their contracts run down at the end of the season. Between them, they have got 800, or in fact more than 800, first team appearances, which also means that we are saying goodbye to a lot of experience in that bunch of players, which does worry me somewhat, but don't worry because we're about to run through all the pros and the cons. In terms of positives, these players all bring up our average squad age enormously. We've spoken about the need for us to inject some energy, some pace, some creativity, some youth all season for multiple seasons now. And getting rid of players that struggle to match the pace is going to help to make room for more young, youthful replacements. So that is not necessarily a bad thing in itself. Plus, none of these players at this point in their careers are ones that we should be relying on. They're more prone to injuries. Obviously, they're nearing the end of their careers. So we're not losing out on players that should be regularly starting. We're also obviously looking to save money on wages wherever we can. So this will do exactly that. So it will hopefully free up some more funds that we can reinvest to strengthen in the summer. However, touching on my concerns, and let me know if you disagree, because I know we've all got very different opinions on this topic. I feel like 3 of those 4 players can be decent squad players to rely on if and when it's needed. So I am nervous that we might have got rid of them a little bit hastily, given we've got so much work to do this summer. Otherwise, if we just said, we just need to replace them, I wouldn't be so worried. It's more the amount of work and amount of signings we need to bring in and what you can really mess up if you're bringing in like 10 players. We were talking about this rebuild, but we're going to have to be going through such a transition period this summer. Having some of these more experienced players who've been at the club for a while, know the ropes, know what we're about, I think they can be really important to help keep whatever identity you've got remaining and to remind new players what it means to play for West Ham and bring that experience out when times inevitably get tough at West Ham. And we're also looking at a situation where we almost need to bring in players for every position now, because obviously that's not going to happen. We're not going to bring in like a full starting 11 or replacements. My worry is, while these players that I'm talking about here, aside from Ings, I feel a bit differently about Ings. I think definitely needed to go. They don't bring us a huge amount of excitement. And obviously we know that they're nearing the end of their careers. And as a fan, you want a young, youthful team where you go, this person is going to be a huge part of our future. Of course we do. I'm just not sure we can replace most of our squad. It's almost like got to be a slow process. And it means that we now need to invest in replacements for all of these people, as well as the key positions that we needed to strengthen. And now we'll need to find someone to bring in for these guys that are going, hopefully, because we definitely need squad depth as well as a good starting 11. And while they're not the best players, and obviously as a team we have not been playing well enough, we have been relying on them to help us, which makes me feel like they shouldn't be in our starting 11, but they could be squad players. So that is the 3 of them that are not Ings. Cresswell has played 16 times in the Premier League for us this season. Coufal has played 20 times and Fabianski 13 times. So these aren't players that we don't use. And we've got a big change coming with them leaving. And the only question I have is whether they could have been useful just as an option should we have a good starting 11, having made some really big investments this summer and strengthen the squad. But we know that we can fall back on them should someone get injured or whatever it is, because I just think we've got to bring so many players in right now and bed them in, get them up to speed, and hope that they all do hit the ground running and fulfill the expectations we've got on them. So people like Cresswell, who silently sit in the background, great servant for the club, know what it's like, been with us for ages, play a big part in like the morale and the work ethic behind the scenes. And you know that if you need to call on Cresswell, yes, he's not going to be Wan-Bissaka sprinting down the wing on the other side, but he will do what you need, more or less. He'll get some crosses in. He'll defend okay. And obviously the risk is, while we're trying to save money, yes, you don't have his wages, but if you now need to bring in somebody else to play as a backup where Cresswell was, then you've now got to pay a signing fee of some sort, plus whatever their wages are. And I think Cresswell actually did really well when called upon this season. He's been with us for 11 Premier League seasons, signed for us in 2014. We paid just over 2 million for him from Ipswich, which equates to just under 200 grand a season, which has to be the absolute bargain of the decade. And ironically, our last game of the season is against Ipswich. So it's like a full circle moment, playing for Ipswich, playing against Ipswich, and see what his future holds. Fabianski, he joined us in 2018. He just turned 40. We've been speaking for years about his age. We know that he's never been the best at distributing the ball, but we have had some shockers. And you see people like Joe Hart that you bring in and how challenging it can be when you have problems with the goalkeeper. But he's done a job, and he's been arguably as good as Areola for a lot of the time recently. Hence the two of them alternating so often, because no one quite understands the best way to juggle them. So yeah, Fabianski again, another one you can rely on as a goalkeeper. Obviously, you've got age on your side a little bit more than the players on the pitch. Coufal, 2020 signed for us. He's put in some brilliant crosses over the years, which played a massive part in the success that we've had during his time with us. Danny Ings has made 69 appearances. With Danny Ings, it's different for me. I think it's definitely time for us to part ways. So he can go and get some goals elsewhere, and we can focus on finding a striker that fits our system, because poor Danny never really had a chance, did he? With the type of player that he is versus the type of player that we need at West Ham, he's just different. He is a player that needs service, and we are not a team that currently really offers service for strikers. It's that problem. It's probably our problem, not his. But yes, I think it's time to part ways with Danny Ings. So yeah, I'm going to miss Cresswell, Fabianski and Coufal. I feel like it's almost like an end of an era where we knew that these players were coming a little bit to the end of their time at West Ham. We knew that they weren't like the groundbreaking players that were going to reinvigorate our squad. But you also, like, they brought a little bit of a sense of security in that you go, oh, okay, Cresswell's starting. And you're not like, oh no, Cresswell's starting. Whereas I feel like there've definitely been times where we've had players for squad depth where you put them on and you're like, oh God, we're in trouble here. So yeah, Coufal as well, obviously performances dipped, but you knew what you'd get with him more or less. So those are my thoughts. I understand that we need to invest in the future of the club, but with so many transfers needed and a lack of budget, I'm just a little bit concerned that we're spreading ourselves a little bit thin and doing a mini version of what Chelsea did, where they just bring in 1 billion new players and then work out how to fit them in. Because it's not that simple as getting 11 good players and just popping them on a pitch. And it's also worth noting, by the way, that there was no mention of Antonio in that list of players leaving at the end of their contract, suggesting that we probably haven't made our minds up yet. And Potter also said it's a unique situation with Mikel in terms of how he's recovering from his injury. He's doing fantastically well. He's going through a lot. We'll support him, and that's the main thing at the moment. So, future undecided for Mikel Antonio. We'll have to see what happens there. But there you have it. My thoughts on those 4 players heading out this summer so far. But let me know what you think down below in that comment section. It's definitely going to be a really interesting one to see how we build our squad alongside the key needs that we have, or whether we're going to... I just hope we're not disappointed, because I hope that we can strengthen in the key areas, bring in a few players of untapped talent. God, I nearly yawned then. That does not suggest that this is an exciting video, does it? But yeah, I think it's just going to be an interesting summer break, shall we say. So that's all from me for now. Catch you at 5 p.m. I'll be running through Hammers headlines for today. Like I said, drop us a comment with your thoughts. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button so you never have to miss an update. That's all from me for now. Have a great day. Enjoy that sunshine. Come on, you Lions. Bye.